It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candice Gish. If this is your very first time tuning into the Divas That Care, a huge welcome. We are now in our 14th year. We are listened to in over 30 countries around the world, and it is all because of our amazing tribe, our listeners, our hosts, everybody that's been involved with us. We're just so excited that we've continued to do this. We meet extraordinary people, and we have the amazing opportunities and stuff to do, little bits to change the world. So as I said, we're so excited that each and every one of you has joined us today. I'm going to be welcoming a brand new diva to our family today, Kelly Kashula. Kelly, would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners today?
Oh, most certainly. So I'm known as KJ Kushula, and you can call me Kelly. That's the nickname that my sister, bequeathed me when I was very small. I'm a children's book author and illustrator from South Africa, but I do a lot of extensive travel from South Africa to Paris. So I'm, international, and I love drawing, I love writing, I love coffee. I love both my home countries, that I call them home one and home two. I love my South African roots, and I love the country that I'm moving to, which is France. Um, so that's me. I also do some other things on the side. I work with illustrations. I work in hybrid publishing, and as you can see, I'm very involved with story. I love story. So if you're looking for who KJ Kushul is, well, she loves story. She loves kids' books. That's me.
I love it. How did you ever get involved in writing and illustrating and being a part of the children's book industry?
Well, I have wanted to write since I was extremely little. Like, I can even give you the age. I was 9 years old where I wanted to write, and it happened all of a sudden. The teacher in the class decided to task us with writing our first ever story, and it completely blew my mind. I wrote the story and I came up with this ending, and I was like, wow. Like, everything changed for me then. And so ever since then, I've been, playing with story. Given I wasn't the great standout kid. I just love story. I love looking at pictures in storybooks. I love reading them. I love escaping in them. And I loved playing with ideas, so much so that sometimes I would even act them out. And I could always draw. And so, as life goes on, you tend to get to your teens, you still play with it a little bit, but you move further away from it. And then you get to your late 20s where, I don't know, something clicks or a light bulb comes on. You're like, hey, do you remember that you like doing this? Yeah, I kind of do. And then you're like, well, I think it's time now. So then I started to get back into it, started writing and playing with it.
Oh, I love children's books. I had mentioned to you earlier that I've been homeschooling my children for so long. I almost 20 years. And it's amazing
Wow.
to think that, you know, somebody's on our program that writes these books and illustrates them because I love them. I love just immersing ourselves into that world, and it's always inspired my children, like yourself. I have one of my daughters is she's actually illustrating a children's book right now, and I love it. I watch her do things, and I find it so fascinating that she's able to do that. She said, she's always been inspired like you through her childhood to create these characters, and listening to children talk about them, and I can see how you would be inspired. And I'm just so in awe of you right now, because to have that mentality, to know that children's books really are the key to starting those conversations, to helping them. I love how you want to change the world by creating amazing magical books.
Yeah, yeah, that is definitely the mission, to inspire hope and change and kindness and magic, and bring back that children-esque feeling my sister and I felt
Yes.
growing up, that I feel, watching the kids today, it almost feels like it's disappeared or it's lost. And so I want to bring that back. I want kids to be inspired by story,
Hmm.
and inspired enough to be willing to change the world, for the better. That is the mission. And I think when you stand back and look at that, you're like, yeah, let's write another one.
Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be great. I listen to my kids every once in a while, and you probably did this with your sister, is that you sat there and you guys would make up stories and just kind of entertain each other by doing that. And that's probably the stories that now you're writing.
You know, for some reason, I think that my memory is lost on me there. But I guarantee you, my sister and I played together a lot. We were playing in tents and pretending to be things, and we were running around the garden. Definitely doing that. Of course, we were in front of the TV. I mean, we were 90s kids that grew up in the TV, which is fine, but we played outside. And I think
Yes.
we created stories by ourselves. And it's only now, late 20s, early 30s, that my sister and I are actually coming together and we're telling each other our stories. So it's actually happening now. And she loves the stories that I create. And I can't wait for her to actually write her first story. And so she is like a great support system now as I'm, becoming an adult, which,
Hmm.
believe me, I'm actually feel still much a kid.
I know what you mean. So, Callie, tell me about the stories that you've already created. I'm really excited about that.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I've created two main concepts of stories. The first one is the Super Duper Secret Collection, which I'm super proud of because it's kind of like my first baby. It starts off with this little girl called Little Lizzie, who's very mischievous. She's courageous, she's inquisitive, and she believes in magic. And she believes it so much because she's actually seen it. So the first book is called I Caught One of Santa's Reindeer. The second one, I Captured the Easter Bunny's Chicken. And the third one, which has just come
Oh
out,
my
is I
gosh.
Discovered a Monster Under My Bed. So,
I love the names. Oh my goodness.
oh, thanks. So as you can see, this character knows magic exists. She's seen it, she believes it, and that is what we as kids always do. We believe it because we know it is true in our hearts. And so, embedded in the Super Duper Secret Collection, within these stories, there are subtle morals. You don't realize it when you read it. You are actually reading for pure pleasure and fun. It's fun for the kid to hear or read, and it's fun for parents to read it too because there's fun little tongue twisters in there. And so yeah, that is it with that. With the morals, like the I caught one of Santa's reindeer, a big moral is don't lie because you'll get on the naughty list and you don't want to be on the naughty list. It's also about taking care of pets because every kid wants, mom, please get a dog, I want a dog. So it kind of gives you a little bit of insight into responsibility.
Mm.
With I Captured the Easter Bunny's Chicken, it's about sharing. Uh, you know, you as a kid always went to go find the Easter eggs in the garden, and either your big brother or your little sister got more eggs than you, which is a problem. So the idea is to share your eggs with not only your sibling, but with your mother and father, your family too. And there's also, you got to take care of the Easter Bunny's chicken because you can't just
Yeah.
leave it locked in a shed, as little Lizzie did. Um, so it looks at that one with the monster book. Now the monster book is quite fun because it's not really a holiday book like the Christmas one and the Easter one, but the monster book is about courage, bravery, discovery of who you are as a kid, as a person, discovery of your own bravery, discovery of friendship, of books, and that you can actually dive into a massive library and unearth this worlds that are going to take you to different places of your imagination. And there's also some sharing in there. So that is the super duper secret
Aw,
collection.
I love it. So what age range is this?
So if you have to put it in a book, I mean in a box, it probably is going to be around 8 to 12 in terms of reading level, but 6 to 12 can read it. I imagine that a 9-year-old brings this book to mom or dad, and you have the 6-year-old that's also going to be there, and they're all sitting on the bed and they're all enjoying the story. So those are with all my books, even the Brave Kids books, which I'll chat about now.
I love that. And I love the family dynamics part of it. I've always been a big believer in sitting down. We would spend a lot of time on the couch and reading out loud as a family. And those are the magical times. And we talk about it still, how my kids really enjoy that. And they like, can we still do that? I'm like, like, you realize how old you are now. But we still love doing stuff like that.
Oh, that is fabulous. That's fabulous. Yes, I'm a big avid supporter, cheerleader for parents and kids sitting down on the bed or, in front of the fireplace, wherever you want to be, and connecting over story, because story does connect us. It connects us, we can be miles apart, continents apart. But if we're reading the same story, we can connect over, the phone. Technology is great, and we can chat about it. We can start a
Yes.
conversation. We can ask the questions that we need to ask. And that is why it's so important. It brings us together in ways that I honestly think we probably have forgotten.
You know what? I will agree with you, Kelly. I even find now in life that my husband and my oldest daughter, they do a lot of audiobooks and they do them together and then they have conversations and they talk about things. And I'm like, that's an amazing way to bond with somebody.
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
So tell me more about your other books, because this is the part I'm really excited about also.
Okay, so the other side of the books that we have published is these books called Brave Kids, short stories to inspire our world changes. And so what it is a collaboration. It takes 24 authors from around the world, and they all write these short stories with a mission to change the world through stories. Now, with these stories, they really great because they've got lessons, morals, teachings embedded in with them. You can't go to a 9-year-old kid and be like, hey, I see you struggling with this bully. This is what you're going to do. It most likely is going to go over their head. But if a child who's maybe having to deal with a bully or stage fright or grief has a story that they can read by themselves or hear and connect with the character, they're most likely going to compare their situation with the character and be like, hey, that character in this story, in this book, did this. I'm going to try it and see how it works for me. So I'm very proud of these books because I believe that they are going to change, the way kids think, the way they grow up, and essentially they're going to pass it down to their kids, so the next generation is going to get it, and so it's going to change hearts, minds, souls, generations from now.
I agree. I love that so much. And you and I were talking about that before the program and how much I think that we need more books like this. Kelly, one of the things I'd love you to do too is if you could post all about this in our Changemakers Cafe so that all of our listeners, our tribe that tunes into the Divas That Care Network will be able to check that out.
Oh, most certainly. I'll definitely go do that. And then you can find out all the juicy information. You can click on it so it's easy for whoever's listening.
Excellent. Kelly, what is next for you? What else do you have happening in the future here?
Well, I'm actually currently busy gathering authors for Brave Kids Volume 3 because we got Volume 1 and 2 out. And so we're gathering people who want to write children's stories and want to change the world as well. They'll be one of the 24 authors in Brave Kids 3. And we kick off in about January, and so the book will come out next year, June. And so while that's going on, I'm also part of some collaborations. So I'm going to be doing my first poetry book. Also going to be part of a collaboration, and I'll be writing some poems. And I'm also going to continue Little Lizzie's adventure in the Super Duper Secret Collection. I have a bunch of titles that I want to play with, and so I can't wait to get started on her next adventure. I can give you a clue. It most likely is going to deal with little Lizzie losing her fourth tooth and trapping the Tooth Fairy's mouse and having to figure out her adventure with that.
I like that. This is wonderful. You are doing so many things out there.
Yeah, I can't believe it too. And I look back at it, I kind of am as bitter in a state of shock, like, okay, well, that happened. Let's keep going. Just keep going.
Excellent. I love this. Kelly, can you give us your website where they can go and check you out, check out your books, check out all of that?
Oh, most certainly. So you can check everything out on www.kjkashula.com. And that is Kashula spelled Kashula. And you'll find some amazing things there. If you're like you teaching at home, there are some fun activities for kids for Christmas, for Easter, and I'll be doing some Halloween activities soon that I'll post around about the 1st of October. There's
Wonderful.
also Brave Kids activities that link up to the book, so you can download that. You can find out more about the characters, more about me. You can just go have fun and absolutely explore, and join the email list because then you'll get all the news first.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait to share this with all of our listeners out there.
I'm so excited for everyone that is going to read this, and it's going to sit back and be like, yeah, I needed to hear this. I needed to read it. And they're going to feel so much good energy, good vibes. So I'm happy that people get to read those.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And Kelly, last thing I wanted to ask you today is what kind of tips do you have for our listeners today? Perhaps if they're looking at writing, being a part of being a writer or being an illustrator, or tips to balance their lives when they're traveling, like with yourself, you're traveling all the time. How are you able to balance it all?
Okay, let's do the balancing one first, and then I'll give you some tips. To balancing, you have to know why you're doing it. The big reason is why. Once you got that figured out, then the other parts fall into place. And connecting with those that support you and love you is very important. Understanding the balance between your work life, your relationship, and your family. And remembering that life is not just a speeding bullet train. I mean, it's great to be on when you are very ambitious, but sometimes that speeding train needs to pull into the station. You need to get off for a while. You need to connect with family, friends, maybe just having a coffee in the morning and looking into the sunshine. So finding that balance is very key. It is hard work, no doubt about it, but the rewards in the end are even greater when you have connected with yourself, your loved ones, your homes, especially if you're traveling, connecting with those with where you call home one, home two, home three, etc. So that's balance. Some tips. Sorry, I was talking a bit. You wanted tips on?
If a person was looking, I just want to say thank you for that though, because I think it's really important to connect and to make things, uh, it's hard nowadays. I think that a few years ago, when all the changes happened and things kind of shut down, those communication styles and being around families and friends in a more intimate face to face, kind of went away. And getting back into that is the most important thing. And I've shared that tip quite a bit on our program. We miss that connection. And I always say that really does help balance yourself out, is when you're able to do what you were saying is, connect, be around people, have a coffee, have a conversation, and just have those real conversations again. And I think it's really important. So definitely want to thank you for that. The tip that I had, or I was asking, is, if a person was wanting to become a writer or an illustrator,
Oh,
do you have any
yes.
tips for them?
Oh, yes. Okay. So the biggest tip of all is know what you want. If you really want to do it, then nobody can stand in your way, not even you. You need to push yourself. Um, you need to create deadlines. I know it might seem like, oh, I used to do deadlines in school. It was, you have childhood trauma, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, those deadlines push you, especially when you are doing it for you, because that is the main thing. You do it for you, you put deadlines in, you get it done. Once it's done, you can edit and play with it as much as you want. So that is the biggest tip there. The second tip is just keep going. Just keep going. Once you do one, do the next one. Once you do the next one, do the next one. And then soon enough, you'll look back and a couple of years has gone by and you'll be like, someone will point it out to you and be like, hey, you've done 5 books. I'm like, yeah, I've done 5 books.
Mhm.
What? Okay, I did 5 books. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh my
Um, so that's the biggest tip. Yeah. I
gosh.
always say to people, be like Dory from Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, swimming. So it'll be just keep writing, just keep drawing, and then
Oh,
all is good.
oh my gosh, Kelly, everything you've been saying today, that is so funny, because if you look at my motto in life, it is just keep swimming. And
That
so
is
everything
awesome.
that you and I talk about, and I'm like, we were like soul sisters or something.
I
And
was just thinking of that word. I was like, oh my word, this is soul sister moment. This is
it's
awesome. You're awesome.
it's like we've known each other, and I'm like, this is just another me in another part of the world. I think it's fantastic. Thank you so much for
Oh,
coming on to our program. I hope that you come back on. I really enjoyed today, and I really think that we could dive into some other topics here and really inspire the listeners. We're all about creating change makers around the world and inspiring people and having them, just do one thing to help somebody else. And I always believe in that ripple effect. If you could do some small thing of kindness to help others, then it's going to come back.
oh
So,
yes.
oh
That
my
is
gosh.
beautiful, yes. And now that you say that, I wanted to say that, all my books, I love the idea of giving a book as a gift. So all my books, if you get them in paperback, you'll see they got these nice dedicated papers to you as the buyer that says, for example, this brave kid book is gifted to, and then you can write whoever you're gifting it to, and you can write a beautiful message to
Oh,
whoever you're going to give it to. And that's the whole idea, just passing along the magic.
yeah, paying it forward. Oh, Kelly, thank you so much for coming on to the Divas that Care. I
Thank you.
really, as I said, I had a great time. I'm going to be posting all your information on all of our social media, and I would love, as I said, to connect with you again.
Oh, I would love that. I thought this was fabulous, and I hope the listeners that are listening really enjoyed coming on this cup of tea and coffee ride with you and me.
I think so. I definitely do. And a shout out to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so honored that you have continued to be with us for all these years. You know, we have such an amazing listenership, and thank you for all the positive comments and how you share these with your friends and family. You know, it's really appreciated. And from the Divas That Care Network, we are just so grateful to each and every one of you. And I always want to make sure that each and every one of you remembers to do something kind. All right, until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.